Alrighty then, I'm very hyped for Ivern. Common consensus right now is that he's trash, but how much do you want to bet it's because these people were not around when pure support junglers were a thing? Ivern is not meant to carry and likely won't be able to do jack shit to solo carry, therefore he's going to be awful in pure solo queue ranked, and thus disliked by a lot of the community. Let me put it this way, he's a champion that likely will automatically fail in a disorganized team basically 99% of the time. In a group game where you can coordinate with teammates and can guarantee the quality of the teammates you choose to enhance and focus on, then he'll be much better. I think the player base simply does not understand how support jungling works, or in this case, worked since it's long been nerfed, and thus are dismissing him too quickly. Support jungling is winning through the sheer value of your abilities and actions. They generate or deprive others of gold artificially, which basically means buffing and debuffing players, and some of them provide niche supports like extra vision and stuff. Usually a trait of support junglers is a very extreme lack of gold dependency. That means they don't really need as much gold as every other type of jungler. To easily highlight this, just think about the classic support jungler everyone immediately thinks of when they mention support jungling. Nunu has long since been the jungler who can't really carry except carrying by proxy. Sure, he can dominate the early game and be a nuisance, but the carrying he does is by making his team do better. In seasons past, some teams would pick Nunu simply for his blood boil and to make their marksman carry much stronger. Nunu himself is a pretty weak champion, but he can grant so much power to a teammate, it is ridiculous, and in the past this bonus was ludicrously stronger. The carries would forego buying attack speed completely since Nunu would just give them a ton of gold worth of attack speed with a single ability. He would also deprive the enemy of a ton of stats simply with his snowball and his ultimate, which both could reach gold values of 10k worth of stats. Support junglers live through their teams. Sure, their carrying potential is barely that of half a champion, but they can mass multiply the value of their teammates far beyond the potential they personally lost. It is as if the team picks one champion that it only counts as half, but as a trade-off they can make another champion be worth 2, so it's a net gain in the end. Riot has been nerfing value champions throughout the years now. Malphite's attack speed reduction was reduced, Nunu's blood boil was vastly reduced from what it was in the past, as well as a snowball debuff. Janna's shield values are down, and so on. They are fully aware of how game-breaking artificial gold generation can be. The funny thing is that nerfing lane supports or even just lane champions with value abilities has been far easier than jungler supports. This difficult line is literally the reason why support junglers are incredibly rare in the game. Support junglers have to be balanced for both jungle prowess while also having the power curve to warrant the insane value they can bring. This has resulted in it being difficult to find a happy medium and sometimes a champion being warped to the point where their lane counterpart just triumphs, such as Maokai's change from the jungle to the lane. Now in comes Ivern and basically fixes the entire issue with this by simply ignoring it completely. He doesn't need any jungle prowess because he doesn't even jungle, although he is in the jungle role. He doesn't need clearing abilities like Nunu's Consume, the sustain of someone like Warwick, or the ludicrous speeds like Shyvana. There is no way to get obscenely ahead and snowball against your opponent. At the same time, there is no way to get so horribly behind that the jungle crushes you. If you truly wanted to, you could jungle Ivern with no runes or masteries or items or summoner spells and still be able to clear. He can literally start from no foundation and be built freely and stable. No doubt some optimal build will be found for him down the line, but the thing about it is that it won't be an optimal jungle build, it will simply be an optimal build. The build will not take into account the jungle portion, because there's no need to build resistances against monsters or boosted tank stance, no need to take sustain masteries or such either. He will literally have the most flexibility out of all junglers in the game. Such versatility and resilience is ridiculous. Aside from total absolute jungle domination from his opponent, he's ridiculously stable. This is the most perfect setup for a support jungler. He can 100% build around a specific game with no harm to his clearing. My prediction and hope is that people realize that he is only meant to be played on team compositions that will make use of him. He's a specialized champion that comes with the benefit of ultimately never losing the jungle unless the team failed him. In such things, he would be able to answer anything with his incredible build versatility, and a smart jungler would be able to maximize his influence. This is what makes him incredibly important. Even if he just flat out fails and starts off as trash on release, it is very important that he exists. It means Riot is willing to give this subtype of jungler another try, and we will be able to gauge whether or not they can still have merit in League. If Ivern fails, then oh well, he'll receive some tweaks down the line and he'll be there with other specialized champions. If he succeeds, then Riot might be willing to rework some other champions into becoming support junglers and revive some of them who have long since been crippled. His passive is basically all I've spoken about, which is of course letting him function in this position in the first place. The rest of his abilities will likely not exist in the form they do now without it. It basically allows Riot not to force some spammable abilities for clearing or some super sustained component to his kit. As a result of this, Ivern was given a kit entirely made to support his team in some very unique ways. The best part is that the numbers and functions of the abilities stress this completely. Ivern cannot do anything without his teammates nearby, but he will enhance the fuck out of them. His Q functions as a crowd control, but also ridiculous team mobility if used right. His W creates some damn bushes and can range from useless to insanely crazy playmaking tools. His E is a basic value shield with some damage attached to it with a really strong slow. I will talk about his ultimate in a moment because that's something so hilariously created from Riot for a support jungler, but for now I must mention the fact that Ivern actually has very little inherent value in his abilities. While Nunu's Blood Voil is a massive gold increase to a teammate and Malphite's Ground Slam is a decrease in the enemies, Ivern's abilities, aside from the health boost from his shield, have basically little to near infinite value. His abilities are all based on how well they can be taken advantage of by the team. Like I mentioned with the bushes, they can probably do nothing in some situations, but in certain other situations, like with a Rengar or a Caitlyn, they can have tremendous value. I love this so much because it makes Ivern more resilient. Sure, having more ranks in his abilities is nice and helpful, but it won't absolutely cripple him. It also makes it so that he's not prone to being obscene with value like older support junglers had been in the past. Now his ultimate, the Golem Summon. Apparently it's weak right now, but I have no doubt it will be tweaked. It summons a golem that fights for you and targets whoever you choose. After 3 auto attacks, it creates a mini Braum ultimate. It's kind of boring for some people, but I adore this ability because it is, once again, a clever way to boost him and make sure he doesn't totally get crippled. Ivern can use the pet for offensive reasons or peeling purposes while then being able to do whatever he needs to be doing, or even if just to avoid getting easily picked off because he either got crippled in the game or is low on health. Basically put, Ivern is the ultimate resilience champion. There is basically no way he won't contribute in the game unless your team composition is literally something he cannot support. He can come in built to respond or support anything. You never have to worry about helping him in the jungle aside from dealing with invaders. He is designed so that he can be helpful no matter what level he is in or whatever state he's in. This means that no matter what, he will always be a factor in the game. I, for one, am truly excited for this champion, and I'm hoping most people give him the chance he deserves. This channel is supported by my sponsors, Crunchyroll and Loot Crate. Check out the description below for links to the websites. Signing up for any trials, including Crunchyroll's free anime trial, greatly supports my channel. Also remember to give the video a like to support the channel and subscribe if you haven't yet. I've also made a Patreon now, and if you wish to support me through that medium, then I welcome it.